Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome back to our gameplay here on Ravenport. This is Ravenport episode number, well, let's see. I really don't know, but we're going to find out here in just a minute as soon as I bring up my YouTube release schedule spreadsheet, which helps me keep track of all my YouTube thoughts and whatnot. And this is Ravenport episode number 7. Thanks for coming back. So we're kind of doing the customary check our field before we go off and do any other work on the farm kind of concept here. We are growing. We are growing oats, obviously, because we need that for our horses. We're 100% fertilized. We're 0% weeds. So I'm going to bump our time up to 5x here, and we're going to go off and do a mission, or a contract, I should say. Folks, be prepared for me to probably always make that little bit of a incorrect name calling there because it's just so ingrained in my head to think missions. But anyway, we're going to go and do a fairly easy in time, or easy in effort, I suppose. Difficult, somewhat in context or in process, simply because it does require multiple pieces of equipment, and we're going to use all of our own equipment to maximize the value. Now, Mr. Nix, he lives up here, owns field number 20. Field number 20 is a grass field, and he needs that field mowed, and he needs the grass tethered to make hay. And he needs it raked, and he needs it baled, and he needs those bales taken to the barn. So it's got a lot of moving parts to it. It doesn't pay a whole heck of a lot. It's only going to pay us a couple of $1,000s. There was a seating opportunity for us on the other side of town. One of Uncle Cletus's friends has some need for that. But the greater need was right here with Mr. Nix, and so we basically, even though we're not going to make a whole lot of money on this, and even though it's going to take a lot of our time, because obviously I've got some of our pieces up here already, not all of them, but we've got some of them up here. We're going to have to, the need is actually greater here than I think elsewhere. And so that's why we're gonna do what we're gonna do here. So we're gonna get all this lowered down, get it all turned on. I know we don't have access to the field, not a problem. And we're gonna go ahead and cut this grass and get this going here for Mr. Nix. And the deal is that sometimes when you're running your own farm like we are here, and of course we're so fortunate that we had the opportunity, or sort of a jump start, I would say. It's really been a jump start in our farming efforts here because of Uncle Cletus, and because of the fact that he didn't give us the land. Uncle Cletus hasn't given us a thing in life, and to be quite honest with you, he is never going to give us anything. Trying to figure out here where the boundaries are. It is a little hard to tell where the boundary is with the grass field because of the verge and everything that's coming up. So hopefully this is going to be close enough for Mr. Nix, close enough for government work, and I guess it is, because we're being told that we don't own that field. But anyway, you'll just have to do your best to figure that out on your own. I will just say that it's a lot more realistic the way that they've got the grass in with the fields versus the way they did it in Farm Sim 15, I think it was, which is kind of I think it left the boundaries on the fields, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. Anyway, enough about that. But it's not always about we could use that $40,000 seeding contract, and it's possible that we'll get around to doing that. If we have all of our work done and everything, then obviously that's how we prioritize stuff. Is basically first and foremost is we do the work for our own farm. We take care of that first, and then if we have anything else, if we have time left over, and whatnot, then we will go and do work for other folks, for other farmers. Now, of course, there is a caveat to that, because sometimes sometimes the need of folks comes before your own, and there could be a situation where that, we might have, as an example, oats on our field that's ready to harvest, but if we've got a neighbor that's in need, then certainly that could basically preempt that. And that's just the way that Uncle Cletus has operated all of this time, and it's certainly the way that we're going to continue to operate. So I'm going to come out of role play just a little bit, and just kind of talk about some of the things that has been going on with me, and with my gaming, and my life in general and everything. It's been a few days since I've actually recorded an episode on Farm Sim 19. It's been a few days since I've even played Farm Sim 19, as far as that goes. Has been busy. Work has been busy, I should say. And life has been busy as well. And so I appreciate you guys' flexibility with my last minute scheduling change. What would have been last week, I believe, with the normal episode that I usually put out on a Wednesday. I just didn't think it was right to put out something that was, fun on such a day that we are supposed to be in remembrance of a fine individual such as the late President George Bush, number 41. And so I'm not going to go any further into that, because I know that politics and everything is a subject that is often touchy, and often brings about, sometimes it brings about the worst in people, and I'm not making any accusations about that, but I'm just going to basically leave it at that. But anyway, I felt that it was more fitting to just not put anything out that day, and just sort of be in remembrance mode. So thanks for that flexibility on your part, the viewers. So we're going to try to, if work permits and everything, we're going to try to be able to stick to at least a two episode a week schedule. But I'm really sort of trying to keep at 3, just because I think that kind of keeps everything moving along quite well, and it's something that for now fits into my schedule okay, and all that good stuff. So we're going to go up here and grab these few sprigs of grass here, just because we don't want Mr. Nix necessarily to look out here and see that we have missed some of this grass. So hope everyone is having a wonderful day. In the real world, it is Sunday, the 9th of December. December is just trucking on by for me. Thankfully, I have the majority of my Christmas shopping done. Can you all say that? Hopefully you can. If you can't, then you better get with it, because I will tell you, Christmas will be here. Christmas will be here before you know it. And yeah, it's just it sneaks up on us pretty quick, especially if we're not paying attention, and if we're not ready. It can come about fairly quick. So we're gonna just we're gonna park this right here. I know we don't own this field, but Mr. Nick said it would be okay as long as we don't drive on the field over there. That would be fine to stage our equipment and everything. So we're just going to, for sake of time and everything, we're just going to do these tasks, and we'll get as much of this project, of this little task or contract done that we possibly can. We're not using super huge equipment, but also we're not using necessarily super small equipment, I suppose, or I should say it's not a super big field. We are using the majority of the smallest equipment that we can get. This tedder, I believe, is the smallest, and of course our rake, I think, is one of the smallest ones, at least as part of some of the default models. Mods are starting to appear, some less effective than others. I have yet to take a look at. I need to. My hesitation to it is I still don't think it's going do everything for me that Drive Control would do or could do. But there is a new keyboard steer mod that has come out. And of course, I don't use keyboard to steer my tractors, but there is a feature in it where it brings about shuttle control. Now the problem with that, and again, I have not taken a look at it, I've only just essentially read the comments and maybe read a few folks' experiences with it in various Discord channels and such, is it, and what I don't know about it, and what obviously I would need to know in order for it to be something that I want to use it for, is I would need to make sure that I can assign a control to that. So in other words, I use my gear shift lever, my G27 gear shift lever. All the way forward is obviously shuttle control forward, and all the way back is shuttle control reverse. And so that's how I like to have my setup. Drive Control allowed me the ability to do it that way, and I don't know if this will do that or not. So if you know for sure, certainly chime in and let me know in the comments. I may by then have already experimented with it for myself. But the area that I am not really excited about, that I've certainly heard, and again I will say I've just heard this because I've not checked this out for myself, is that the settings do not save. So you've got to, anytime you jump into a tractor, I believe within a game session, you have got to make some tweaks to the settings of this mod for that particular vehicle. And I'm just not super excited about that. I'll be honest with you, because again, I know that there's a chance that we're not going to get Drive Control as we knew it in Farm Sim 15 and Farm Sim 17 in Farm Sim 19. I understand that there is a possibility that is not going to happen. At least it's not going to happen by as a result of the original modder who developed Drive Control as we know it. But I think that the way that it is now, and I will also say, I need to back up and I need to say this, that the keyboard steer mod, as it's being called, is in beta. It's in beta, and so it's probably very rough beta, and it's possible that this would be something that would get addressed, where when you make a change to something or you set a particular tractor up or whatever, that it would be a global change. I really wish that it would just be a global setting that you could set just like Drive Control was, where you could just set it and it would be there for all your vehicles regardless of whatever, because I basically use the shuttle control for everything, regardless of whether it's a truck or a tractor or a wheel loader or the Bobcat or the Gator or whatever. It's all, I use it the same. I use the shifter for forward, I use the shifter for backwards, and I'm happy with that setting, because it's a little more realistic, especially in a tractor, and especially in the tractors that I kind of grew up using, where we had the shuttle control on the steering column and you would push it forward to go forward, pull it back, I think, to go back, and you could just, especially like flattening out or doing things like blade work, bucket work, or stuff like that, it was fairly easy to do. But my gosh, I mean, that's been 40, almost 40 years ago, and I keep missing these spots. But anyway, it is what it is, and we'll either see it come available, or we won't, and we'll just have to figure out how to live with it. And it's still, I still say this, it's still very, very, very early days. The Farm Sim 19 has not been out a month yet, and just barely a few weeks, 3 weeks I think, and so we just have to be patient. Patience is the name of the game with this, I think. So all right, so anyway, your Christmas shopping, if you haven't got that done yet, you need to make sure you get it done. I have been pulling my hair out over Amazon deliveries. My gosh, I mean, Amazon. A few weeks ago, and this is a true story. You can go out and fact check it if you want to, if you didn't hear it for yourself. But Jeff Bezos, who is the CEO of Amazon, came out a few weeks ago. I think this was like right before Thanksgiving, to give you some time context, and said that Amazon one day will fail. That Amazon will fail as a business because businesses no longer are built to survive decades of time. So in other words, the original, for us Americans, you know what I'm talking about here, the original concept of like Sears and Roebuck and Montgomery Ward's and those kind of stores that many of us grew up knowing about and shopping in and everything, and the fact that they had been around for decades and in some cases many years, almost 100 years perhaps. Jeff Bezos is saying that the model does not allow for that anymore, that essentially some other company, or maybe it'll be a company that we already know about, will come along and fine-tune their business model, maybe a Walmart or something like that, and be able to essentially take Amazon for a run of its own money. And so he came out and he said this, and we're just going to drop this guy right here, and then we're going to swing around and pick up our rake as we go through the trees here blindly. Jeff Bezos said, that Amazon will fail. And well, unfortunately, I think that the time is now, and I'm not saying that it is going to fail right now. Let's see. I think we need to maybe think about this a little bit. I will say that I'm not a big fan of this small rake, but we'll try to make do with what we have. But anyway, he said that it would fail, and basically his ask to employees was, let's try, as employees of Amazon, their responsibility was to try to make it, or try to avoid that reality or that fact for as long as possible. So in other words, it was employees' responsibility to delay the inevitable. Well, my wife and I have been Amazon Prime customers for quite a long time, for several years now, probably more than 5 or 6. I mean, I don't know when Prime came out. We were not one of the original adopters or customers of Amazon Prime, but we weren't too far behind. So time to me sometimes is a measurement that's a little difficult to say, with any precise measurement, that I did that 2 years ago, or I did that 5 years ago. I don't know. It could have been 6 or 7 years ago, or it could have been just 5. I don't know. But we've been Amazon Prime customers for a number of years, and so not only do we enjoy the benefits of Amazon Prime from the shopping experience. So I mean, I have not shopped in a mall. Let's see, how do we need to do this? I think if we're going to make a bigger row, I think we're going to come up and put this guy right here and rake this into a little bit bigger row. Anyway, primarily we use it for the shopping experience, and I have not been in a mall for the purpose of Christmas shopping, or even a department store or anything like that for the purpose of Christmas shopping in several years. Nor do I plan to do that. And so I have ordered a great deal of stuff from Amazon, and I've ordered a great deal of stuff for Amazon for Christmas, for the purpose of Christmas. Now, when we went to Texas a few weeks ago, we actually had done some shopping for my parents. for my aunt and uncle and for my small cousins. We had done that shopping on via Amazon, some of it, most of it, and we didn't have a problem. We got everything that we were supposed to get and all of that kind of stuff. And of course, my wife started shopping for them, from my parents and I and such. She started doing that in mid-October, probably. So, arguably, we could say that it was well before the holiday rush. It was well before Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all that kind of stuff. But even then, we have had problems. We've had delivery problems. Now, let me just sort of say the caveat to that is that we almost never have a delivery problem if Amazon ships via FedEx, UPS, or United States Postal Service. Almost every time that we order something, if it comes in via those methods, we don't have a problem getting the item, whatever the item might be. But we do have a problem if Amazon is the one that's delivering it. So, from what I understand, Amazon is trying to maximize its profits, and as a direct way of them doing that, they've started their own shipping company, if you will, from within Amazon, and sort of as a result of that, they have their own planes, and they also have their own trucks. I've seen semi-trailers going up and down the road with the Amazon logo on them. And of course, they have their own door-to-door delivery. But a lot of the cars that I see pull up in front of my house, if they actually ever make it to my house, these cars have Uber and Lyft stickers on them. Now, if you're not familiar with Uber and Lyft, well, they're the businesses that have kind of taken the whole taxi service, given a run for the money, or given the taxi service a run for its own money. And so they're hiring these Uber and Lyft drivers, and I'm guessing that these Uber and Lyft drivers do a little bit of work for Amazon, and then they do a little bit of work for Uber and Lyft, and I don't know if there's any policies that prevent them from doing work sort of at the same time or simultaneous, but in any event, that is sort of the way that it is. Well, I see all sorts of weird comments in the tracking and the attempted delivery stuff, saying something like, can't access neighborhood due to a security gate or whatever. We don't have gates. I don't live in a gated community. I sometimes wish I did, but the fact of the matter is we don't. Can't find the user's address. Now, I will say that my neighborhood, when they decided to address the houses, now I have a like many residential neighborhoods in this country, I suppose. I have a single address that everyone shares. So a street address, a number, such and such, Wall Street or whatever. And then I have a house number. And so whoever laid out the house numbering system for my neighborhood, they had a few glasses of wine before they started this process. It is a little difficult to get things such as pizzas delivered without a phone call saying, can you tell me where your house is, something like that. But I never have problems with FedEx, UPS, or United States Postal Service. I generally don't have problems with things that get delivered during the daytime hours. So I think a lot of what contributes to trying to get things such as pizza or Chinese or something like that delivered is the fact that half the time these things are the delivery is attempted in the darkness of night, and so you can't see the house numbers or the street numbers or whatever so well. But still, I digress. But so very, very difficult difficulty in getting things delivered. Had a package delivered just the other day. The tracking, when I went to the Amazon website and looked at my packages, my orders, I should say, the package said, the order said delivered, handed directly to the customer. All right, so I'm like, well, you know, they didn't hand it to me. They didn't hand it to my wife. We're the only two people that live here in our house. And so I go outside, I go to the front doorstep, I see the package, but the package is opened on one end, and the package should have contained three different orders that I placed. I wasn't very organized the day that I placed orders for these items. I will admit that. But Amazon, in their infinite wisdom, they packaged them all together, or supposedly packaged them all together. But the problem is that the envelope was open. Now I don't know who opened the envelope. I would say I don't care. I do care, but I don't think it was one of my neighbors. Now, sometimes we get each other's mail. That happens quite a bit. I've often joked that I'm going to submit an expense report to the United States Postal Service, basically saying, you know, you owe me this amount of money for redelivering your mail items to my neighbors. But and it's possible that it could have been delivered to a neighbor. And it's possible that neighbor may have accidentally, because I've done this as well, accidentally opened the package because you think it's yours, because it's either in your mailbox or it's on your front doorstep, and you open the package and then you realize that, oh, no, this is not, I didn't order these. And it just so happened these were some DVDs. And so, but I know my neighbors. I know all of them very, very well. They are the most fantastic people that you could ever find anywhere. My wife and I are very fortunate to live in a neighborhood with such nice, good people in it. And the fact of the matter is that two of the three orders were in the envelope, but the third one was not. The other thing that I will make note of is that there would not have been room in the envelope for the third order. And so I call up Amazon. Well, at first it's difficult to try to find a phone number or a chat or even an email address, and I don't like to do things via email. I like to either chat or I like to pick up the phone and call them. I like to deal with it. You know, I want to deal with it right then and there if I possibly can. And I need to wrap this story up because we're coming up on our time. So I finally found the way to chat with them. And very long story short, the person that I was chatting with basically said there wasn't anything that they could do about it, because even though the order was fulfilled by Amazon, it was sold by a third-party seller, third-party vendor to Amazon, which I understand. That's where a lot of stuff on Amazon comes from, is from third-party vendors. But basically, all that Amazon could do because of this was essentially refund my order for the one particular thing that was missing, and essentially, while I was online with them, place a new order with Amazon, pay for that order, select expedited shipping, which the Amazon person that I was talking to via chat would then waive the shipping fee. Well, really, as far as everything goes, it was really less about the timing of the shipping, because it is a Christmas present, and as I said before, it's the 9th of December, so I've got plenty of time. But this is not the first time. This is probably, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, but this is probably the 12th, 10th, 12th, something like that, almost a dozen scenarios that my wife and I could actually come up with. And she did send a letter to Amazon or an email to Amazon, because we documented all this. We took the time. We took about, I don't know, almost 2 hours the other night. We went through our orders and the various times that we've had to essentially contact Amazon because of a package that was delayed, lost, whatever. You know, they say it's been delivered, we say it hasn't, and we're not, you know, trust me, I'm not out to try to scam Amazon. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to I don't want to profit from anything like that. I'm just literally just trying to buy a Christmas present for my wife, and that's really the state of the situation. So, just funny stuff. And so the reason why I sort of brought all this up and started talking about this was kind of as a bit of a warning to you all, to say, get that shopping done, especially if you're going to do it online. Do it, get your stuff ordered, because let's see, I think I'm going to run back up the top of the hill and then come back down and try to pull that together in one row. Because the reason why I say that is because if you run into delays, you certainly do not want to be, you don't want to be caught out and not have something for your significant other or your children or whatever the case might be, because of some issue with delivery or whatever, when, you know, Amazon is saying, yeah, it got delivered, and you're saying, well, no, it didn't, because it's not on my doorstep. So, all right. So we are coming up on 30 minutes, and you know me, I only like to do episodes that are 30 minutes in length. So what we're going to do is, this would be a wonderful opportunity to have follow me, because we need to move some of this equipment back to the main farm, but we'll have to do it the old-fashioned way, and that is, of course, just drive it back. But we're not going to worry about that for this episode. We are going to get hooked up to this. We're going to put this on the front of our tractor. I guess this is the advance. Oops, we drove on that farm. Mr. Wicks told us not to do that, but I don't think we caused any damage. That's just my not paying attention. But we are going to go back to the main farm, so I'm going to keep you here with me for just a little bit longer. We're going to go back to the main farm. We're going to check on the status of our field, because if it has miraculously kind of gone from growing to full-grown growth, and we have weeds in our field, then I think that there is just some kind of an issue that's preventing things from working correctly. But because that just seems to be what has happened almost each and every time. Okay, so it looks like it's still growing, which is kind of a good sign. So let's just stop our tractor and jump out and run over here and see what the status is. Okay, so it's growing, and it's 0% weed. Okay, so we can't do anything with weeds yet. I'm you know, part of the reason why I'm doing all of this, or part of the reason why I've been showing you all the stats and everything on those fields, is because I'd like to be able to do something with the weeds. I'd like to be able to either use the weeder or spray. I'd like to do both, because obviously it's a functionality that's new in the game and everything for that. But anyway, we'll have to figure that out together at some other time, because for now I'm going to start winding things down and just tell you all, thank you all so much for watching my videos. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you like the video if you did, and if you're not a subscriber of my channel, and if you've just kind of been watching a few videos because you're new to Farm Sim, please click that subscribe button. It just takes just a moment to do, and it's sort of just tells me that folks are actively watching, and I'm attracting new viewers and all that good kind of stuff. It's all fun. It's all in good fun and good nature. And I'm turning my steering wheel the wrong way. But anyway, some cool things obviously are coming with the new update to Farm Sim 19 with the terrain editing stuff. If you haven't had a chance yet, go over to Duckzorly Gaming and check out his live stream video that's archived that you can all watch, where he discusses and he shows how the new terrain editing features work in the game. Now, if you are a multiplayer user, If you enjoy logging into multiplayer servers and playing in a multiplayer environment, you will need to wait until that functionality goes from beta to full production. Because if you install the beta, that may prevent you, or most likely will prevent you, from being able to join multiplayer servers, because most of the multiplayer server hosting companies and such as that don't load betas into their live server environment. So they will wait until that goes general availability, full production, and then they will install that. So that's just what you need to know. Again, thanks so much for watching. Go over, check out Duckzorly Gaming, check out Eustace Pharmer. They are my partners in crime, and they would be lovely, or they would be most grateful to have you a part of their channels. And we are going to start bailing, and with that, I'm going to say thank you all again so much for watching, and please take good care of yourself, and also take good care of each other, and come back for another video here on the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel as we start bailing this hay. Take care. Bye-bye.